Hey guys, this is Russ and Nique, and this is She Wolf Alchemy. And today we are doing another question nobody asked us, where we go around the internet, look at different questions asked on different advice forums around the world, and we answer these questions, though they did not ask us to. And so I'm going to start off with the first one. And the subject of this question goes, he is paying her mortgage and paying for holidays. When I met my partner, he was separated. He's still separated. We have been together for a year. His wife is still living in the marital home. He is paying the mortgage. He said he will put the house on the market in December. Now he's saying June. He says he feels bad for leaving her, so he doesn't want to hurt her anymore. I have seen her pictures on Facebook. So far this year, she has been to Dubai and Italy. She only has a part time job, pin money job. Am I right to suspect he is funding these trips? She has not met anyone new. Girl trips, girl holidays, she says. Basically, do I have a right to be mad? So with this one, the first thing I would say is this is like you don't mess with married folks. Even if you're
Mm-mm.
like they're separated, you don't mess with married folks because
Mm-mm.
I'm of belief that's still his wife, so that's none of your business what he's doing with his money with his wife.
I agree.
You can
I
sit there
agree.
and say they separated, that's his wife still.
Yes, I agree. Uh, I have dated somebody that was separated, and yeah, it was just like it's like that was a one and done situation. Like I would never do that again. It's
Say,
just too sticky. It's too messy. It's just like she low key got a right to talk about me because they like you said they're still legally married. Like it could be a separation, but they're still legally married. Like she still has rights to a lot of stuff. Like I didn't feel like I should be able to say anything. And even when they did break up, I was still feeling some type of way. Like, was this because of me? Is this gonna be my bad karma? Like this is just how I think, you know?
yeah,
Like and he was like all happy and I wasn't happy. I still felt icky. I was like, yeah, it just doesn't sit right for me. It's just like a lot of mess that you don't have to go through if you can just be patient and wait. And if it's meant for y'all to be together when he's done, it's meant for y'all to be together when he's done or she's done, whoever is done. You shouldn't rush into it while they're still intertwined. It's just too messy, and you both should want a fresh start, not a lingering fresh start where they're going through all the logistics and everything else. It's just too messy.
I agree. It's young girl mistakes. It's young girl
Yeah,
mistakes. I
yeah.
too in my 20s messed with somebody who was
Hmm.
separated. Now I will say I didn't go into it knowing he was separated. I
Hmm.
went into thinking this man was divorced. And then it slowly,
Hmm.
well, we separated. I'm about to buy the new house. And I had the whole thing. I don't know if you remember this, but like this is actually the guy that bought me all the equipment for for
Yeah.
our podcast. We had went on a date. I told him I was starting a podcast, and he's like, "Cool, let's stop by Best Buy." He bought me the mics and everything. He bought me a lot of the setup. Yeah, and then buttered in afterwards. Like, yeah, we kind of we. I mean, technically we not divorced. We on our way to divorce. I'm like, hold on, hold
Mhm.
on. I was in my 20s and I gave it the benefit of the doubt. And like Meek said, it comes up because guess what? That's still that man's wife. That man's still
Yeah,
married. That
yeah.
woman's still married. And so you'll have situations. And that thing lasted very briefly for me. I think that lasted maybe all of 2 months because also you have thoughts like this of like, are y'all, while you tell me one thing, does she think y'all working it out?
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
you don't know because, yeah, he is still paying for this and that. Yeah, it's still coming up that this, and you start being like, hmm,
Then you start being jealous, but it's just like you don't really know what they're telling the other person. And even if they are really done and you may see the wife with somebody else, it's just still like until y'all done and with the logistics and the finalization, we good. And like you said, it was young girl stuff because I definitely was in my 20s. I was
mhm.
a baby, early 20s. So it's just like, okay, is that separation? No. Mm-mm. I ain't never did that in my 30s. And
Look,
I ain't gonna do it in my 40s. So we
look.
just not gonna go down that road no more. Ever
Man,
again.
if that man dropped dead today, guess who's getting everything? Guess who gets
Exactly.
to make medical decisions?
Exactly.
Guess who could decide you're not allowed at the funeral no matter how much you love him?
And no matter what family members know you.
So is he still paying for her mortgage, her holidays? It's none of your damn business. That's his wife. That's his wife. That is my response. Maybe it's none of your business because guess what? That's still that man's wife.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's
have
all.
nothing else on the subject.
I don't either, really, because I'm so against it. I'm just not. I'm just against it. Yeah.
And again, I understand falling for that once. I understand falling for that in your 20s. Again, me and Nick both been there. But like this is you should be doing this in your 30s to 40s. You should not be doing no games. Well, he's still legally, it's messy, it's
Yeah.
complicated, and it can be some they ain't been together in 5 years. Let me tell you something. I ain't gonna say the person's name, but there's somebody who's very close to me who is still legally married and they ain't been together. They got kids that they got a kid that's in college now. And guess what? He will still drop at a dime to go pay a bill for them to go, when she has issues with her taxes, he pays her taxes. He's still blah, blah, blah. There's a reason that man ain't legally
Yeah.
separated for them because he
Yeah.
don't want to be legally separated for her. There's still ties there. And that's
I
not to
will
say
say
divorce
that.
doesn't automatically make people not have ties, but when
Mhm.
you do, it's so, and people will play these games. I remember being in my 20s and thinking divorce was so hard
Mhm.
because I just knew so many people that were like, why aren't y'all divorced yet? Y'all both in other relationships, y'all both with other people. And they were like, oh, because we got this and we got that. And then I found out like you can use, especially people with kids, you can use your tax money from 1 year and get a divorce.
Mhm.
Like when people make it complicated, it was like, yeah, because it costs too much and it blah, blah, blah. You just got a new Hellcat. You could have got a divorce. I
Yeah.
like these people talk you into
Yeah.
it's so complicated and
Yeah.
so difficult. It's one thing, y'all got multiple properties, multiple businesses in each other's name. But that's not what's
Mhm.
happening.
Mhm.
Y'all doing this
And
with Ray Ray. Got all 58 cents in his account.
and
She don't want him, he don't supposedly want her. They can do a no contest divorce.
and then especially if
Bullshit.
you looking for something serious. I just don't feel like you like if you want to play, like if some people just want to play and that's fine. I was want to go on a date, just want to have some people that is fine. Casual. Somebody like some people like casualties. But the thing is, I'm thinking like if you want something serious, let's just not get into that
Mm-mm.
until he finishes that.
No. So again, our
Yeah,
response is it don't matter. It's not what he does for his wife. It's not your concern.
unfortunately, because it's just a girlfriend or or just somebody who's dating at the time.
Like, take that L. It's okay. We've all had to take our L's. It's
We
fine.
did, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's fine. Take your L and go about your day. Or like sit there and let that man pay for his wife's stuff. It eat your dinner. Like I don't know what else.
Mhm. Okay. Let me go to the next one. The title of it is Husband Found Out He Has Another Son. So, 3 months ago, my husband found out he has another son, 9 years old. We have been together nearly 8 years with two boys together, 4 and 5. And he also has a daughter he has always known about, who is 16. It can't really be said that he had no idea. He was told when this woman was pregnant that it was not his. However, his family members have at times said the boy looks like him, but he never did anything or ever mentioned it to me. Now, it's not quite as simple as a boy and father finding each other. The son now permanently lives with his nan and two younger siblings, as they were taken from the mother. We don't know much, but can almost guarantee it's been pretty rubbish for him. So we started the process of getting to know his son. After DNA confirmed, we started just me and my husband, which was super hard getting someone else to watch our boys while we meet up. We are now 2 weeks in to meeting with all boys together. It's going well, no major issues, and they all seem to have fun. But I'm struggling. I'm just finding it a lot and a huge change, which I know everyone else is as well, but they're all got on with it like a new happy family. And I feel lost and not part of it. I want to make it work, but I can't shift my feelings, which makes me feel like a terrible person. And I really don't know how to make it better. Okay. It's ways to make it better, but it's like for me, this is something I guess I personally went through finding out that my child's father had another daughter that I wasn't aware of.
Mhm.
But me, but me, he passed away, so I didn't have time to grieve and talk about it with him. But me, I would say I'm a figure person. I'm a nice person. I'm gonna always be nice to the kids. Like me, I'll always be nice to the kids. But like she's trying to like start this whole happy family and get over it so fast. It's nothing that you can do fast. That's literally gonna take time. It's gonna take forgiveness because he knew a little bit that the kid was there. He just didn't want to accept it. He didn't want to do what he needed to do, figure it out. He knew. So it's gonna take time to forgive him. It's gonna take time to grieve the family that you thought you were gonna have without this extra kid. It's gonna take time to go through all of these steps to get to being happy. It isn't something she should just jump in like, why am I feeling like not happy and everybody else is happy? It's just time. You're gonna take time to process it. Maybe even get a therapist to talk it through. And feel and try to figure out where anger is coming from. Because me personally, I always said that I was angry for a long time. I couldn't even grieve at the funeral.
Mhm.
So I grieved when I was sad, but it's like I couldn't process it and I couldn't talk it out with my late fiance. So it was like something that bothered me, but I know if he was there, I would have been raising all hell. So I know what it took me, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't have got to the space of loving everybody together as one.
Yeah,
So I think it just takes time. It just takes time to process that. She can't like rush herself into it or saying, why am I a bad person? That is just something that could just be thrown on you and you would just be okay with. You know what I mean? Like it takes time. So I don't think she's wrong to feel those feelings. Maybe she should get a therapist to talk through it because it is something she needs to work towards because the kid didn't ask to be in a situation.
yeah.
And the kid's already having a bad life. So it just takes time, but it's not nothing that, can't be fixed or can't be worked through.
I agree. I think you said it perfectly. It just takes time. She said it was like 2 weeks into them meeting with the older son and their two boys. That's not a lot of time. It's easier for everybody else to act like a happy family, and that's because the other kids are 4 and 5. Like, yeah, it's very easy for 4 and 5 year old. Kids are very
Mhm.
adaptable.
Yeah, especially at that age.
Especially they're still learning new things every day. They're learning something new about the world, like, oh, the sky doesn't fall at night. Oh, that's cool. So you just throw them in, you're like, oh, this is a new person.
Mhm.
They're related to
Yeah.
you. They're like, oh, okay. They quickly accept that and kind of go on. It's kind of new and exciting. They're teens. My kid is like 8. She loves teenagers.
Mhm.
She thinks teenagers are so cool. 4 and 5 year olds, I'm sure, like, oh, it's like a big kid. You're kind of like an adult, but you play with us, you get stuff.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes sense for your husband, it's his son. It makes sense that for you it is hard to
Mhm. Mhm.
everybody else has certain things that make it a little bit easier for them to adapt to the situation. Like Nique said, I think this is just one of those things that's going to take time to process and something to talk through with someone you feel safe and trusted with, whether that be your husband or a therapist. I recommend doing a therapist with because there's some inside thoughts that you want to process a bit more before you say them out loud,
Mhm.
especially with
Mhm.
your partner.
Mhm.
And that's not to say to keep things from them, but I do think sometimes we have certain feelings that, hey, let's process that before we say them out loud because we might not. There's certain things you can say that you can't take back and people hold on to forever. And so
Yeah.
getting a therapist, getting someone to be a safe space for you to be able to process what you're feeling, how you're going through that feeling before maybe we say all the feelings out loud, I think would be a good idea. And also a big part of this is I think you're grieving the idea of what you thought your family looked like.
Mhm.
I think sometimes we don't recognize that we hold on to certain ideas, and it can be of a bit of a grief process to let go of this idea that we've had for so long. And it
Yeah.
sounds silly, but it's kind of like a lot of us have met friends, family members who are like single moms where it's like, girl, let him go. That man ain't shit. He's
Mhm.
horrible. But it's
Mhm.
like, no, because I had this idea of like, we were going to be a family. Where it's like sometimes you'll talk and it's like they're battling more about the idea of the family than they are for that man. Like they don't even really want that man.
Or really
They
think.
don't even really like, but they have this idea of a family, and it's more so they won't let go because they won't let go of the idea of what I thought my happy family was going to look like. I thought it was going to
Mhm.
be bio mom, bio dad, the kid, us happy together forever. And now something has happened and you want to leave, I want to leave something. It's not healthy And I am putting myself through hell trying to make this happy family idea. And again, it's because I'm grieving the idea that I have to think about this looking another way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that's a different scenario, but it sounds like a little bit of might be what you're going through, which is I met this man single, no kids. We got together, we got married, we had kids, and it's been good, it's been happy. And so I have this idea, okay, this is what it is to randomly throw a new character into season 4
Mhm.
of our life is a bit of a shakeup. That
Yeah.
doesn't make you a bad person to not be fully ready for that shakeup as it happens and need time to adjust. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Give
I
yourself some
think
grace,
so. Yeah.
but do the steps to then let's talk to a therapist, let's process how we feel and give ourselves some time to adjust to this.
Mhm. And I agree with you were saying, like, just processing your feelings and emotions, because some stuff you can't be taken aback. Like, yeah, even me, I say some stuff like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that," but I don't be processing my thoughts sometimes. I just say what I want to say. So,
You know me, I'm so good to be like, I need to be alone for a while before I say some things I don't want to say. And I'm,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
real good because I know my inside thoughts, my automatic thoughts aren't great. They aren't the process
Mhm,
ones.
mhm. And I probably just started doing that this year. Like I told you, I was on the phone. I was like, I'm gonna get off the phone now because I don't want to say nothing to you or your friend because I want both of you guys to still like me. Like,
Word, word.
and it's a dangerous. I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm just not in the best of moods. And won't keep the peace. And it's not even like trying to be mean. It's just like I guess I could come off that way. I'm just coming to terms with some of my things, my flaws. That I'm like, that ain't me. That ain't me. Yeah, that's me. That's me. And I learned, and I'm gonna save our relationship.
Well,
So
and here's the misconceptions because I've heard people say, yeah, your first thoughts, that's how you really feel. Those are your real thoughts. And then y'all just go back and edit it. That's being fake. And no, it's not. Sometimes our first thoughts are just our like reactions, and your reactions aren't always how you genuinely feel. I work with people all the time where like, oh, it's my adult clients. Oh, my adult clients hate it so much. I hate it so much when I bring out the feeling chart because they'll be like, I'm angry. And I'll be like, okay, well, let's process that. Is that really anger
hmm
or is that disappointment? Is that really disappointment or is that sad? Oh, we're sad. We're sad. We're
that's
not
what it
used to
is.
processing sadness. And so when we feel sadness, because we have a lot of feelings around shame around being sad. And so we don't really allow ourselves to feel sadness. So we go to anger. And so we do anger things. When the truth of the matter is we're hurt. We are
hmm
hurt. And so, like, there's this misconception, no, because that's first thoughts, that's how you really know. Sometimes some of us, we are trained to think in certain ways. We have shame around certain feelings. And so your first thoughts are just reactional thoughts and you need help kind of processing it down to what is it that I'm really feeling? What is it that I'm really emoting? And you can need some time to be able to figure out how to say that in a way that's
Exactly.
honest and truthful. But also, again, I'm personally a believer. I don't believe in hurting the people that I love unless it's going to bring about needed change.
hmm
And sometimes there's things you can say that's just hurtful for no other reason than to be hurtful. And I don't think that's necessary. I don't know how you can grow in those type of relationships.
That is true. That is true. And you said that a lot of times, and I think I started to process, maybe they don't need to hear this. 'Cause I know I get it from my mom. She don't wanna admit that. 'Cause I told her, I was acting like you. And then she was like, "Don't be trying to put my name in it." I said, "I get it from you though." I get it
Oh
from you though.
gosh.
It's so
I
much fun.
am every now and then my mom will say something where she'll just like, uh-huh, okay, all right, you got a daughter and wait till it come back to you. And I know there's certain things, so I'm just like, yeah, that's gonna come back to me.
Mm. Mine is already coming back to me. Yeah.
No, my daughter acts so much like my mom that it's kind of crazy. So it's just me. She acts a lot like me too. She acts a lot like you. But so far the things I'm dealing with aren't the me things that
Yeah.
I was doing at that age.
And my daughter asked my mom too, and I always say that too. Okay, she is a junior Michelle. Like
Yeah,
it's weird how they go.
just like them ladies. All right. So yeah, give yourself time to process. It's okay that you don't automatically get these mama best type feelings. It's a new situation. It takes time. You're not a bad person for not automatically having maternal instincts. Give yourself time. Talk to a professional and
Mm-hmm.
know that it's okay that you didn't automatically get warm and fuzzies.
Yeah.
All right, so I have the next one. This one doesn't have a title, so I'm just going to get right into it. My fiance and I have been together a little less than a year. He has his own apartment and I have mine. I normally go to his place on the weekends. For the past 3 weeks, I have not seen him. We are very scheduled to talk in the morning around 1 and around 6. Today, I haven't heard from him at all. I have been getting this feeling like our relationship has become a chore to him. He was single for years before I met him. He always wanted someone to settle down with, according to his friends. He told me straight to my face around the same time he proposed that I'm not his normal type. I don't know what to do. When I ask him, he says everything is okay and he still loves me. I just can't shake this feeling. So I have a couple thoughts on this one. Um, One, it's only been 3 weeks. And so, one, let's give people time to process things. I think sometimes we jump automatically to the worst scenario when things are off, when it literally is like, I can be going through something. I know I've
Mm-hmm.
had this happen to myself in relationships, especially I've talked about it before in the past. I have struggled with like depression in my younger years. And I have had moments where like it has nothing to do with that person. And they are coming to me like, you're acting different, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, bro, I literally can't deal with this right now. I am trying to convince myself to do basic hygienes. And you up here talking to me about like, you don't call me as much, you don't blah blah blah. I am trying not to lose my job. Just can I focus? So I do want to throw that out here. Now, do I think that's what's happening here? No, we have to have a separate conversation. But I do want to throw that out there that like if it's been 3 weeks, give people time to process, bring up the conversation and so forth. But most importantly, the thing I think we do have to talk about around here is, and this is more so Russ's opinion. This is Russ from Dayton's opinion, more than this Russ, a professional's opinion. I don't believe in dating men that I'm not their type. I've done it before, but I'm a big believer in like, if you recognize that, like, dang, he likes dark skinned, dimpled, big bootied girls. Here I am, my flat booty, my caramel skin, only one dimple. But I know every girl you follow, all the Instagram pages you follow are like that. All your exes is like, yo, baby mama's like that. And I'm the complete outlier. It is my personal belief. Like, and I know there's some people, I know I saw this story on TikTok like a year or two ago where this girl and this guy were talking about they're married. They've been married for like 5 years. And they're like, he's not my type and I'm not her type. And they both talk how they weren't each other's type, but they still felt each other and they fell in love and blah, blah, blah. And I do think that can work as a woman, though. I've just seen it happen too many times where like it's more of a subtle thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is more of a like, oh, I'm settling. This is not my type, but I'm still secretly yearning for this type. This is still like this when my type come around, it catches me up type of thing. This is that when you read those cringy ass proposal stories on Instagram when men be like, she ain't the prettiest, but she love me. You like, nigga, what? Well,
Mm-hmm.
wow. And it's kind of like I worry about that being kind of the going theme in their head when you are not their type, especially if they make it known to you that you're not their type. It's one thing if you also are just picking up on it and maybe he changed. Maybe I got a homeboy who we don't know what his type is vagina because there is nothing, not personality, not looks, not figures. Like we cannot find a single pattern. Whenever he one time it was like, yo, hook me up with somebody. I was like, I don't even know who to hook you up with, bro. Your type is like rolling dice, whatever pops up. Like, I don't know if you like funny girls. I don't know if you like quiet girls. I don't know if you like pretty girls. I don't know if you like skinny
Mm-hmm.
girls. Like, I don't know what your type is. Your type is vagina. Like, that's the only thing I know for a fact
Your
you're not who
vagina.
you like. Um, and so, there are those people, but like it's one thing if like, okay, you look and it's kind of like, I don't know, you kind of keep going for this. I'm a little bit different. That's the whole thing for that man to straight up tell you you're not my type.
Yeah. That's bold.
And I'm going to just like, wait. And another thing I'm worried about though is that his friends keep telling you how he was just ready to settle down. There is a going theory. We've talked about this before. They talked about it on Sex in the City. There's been other shows where they talk about this, where they call the taxi cab theory, where it's like they said, there's something that happens with some men. I'm not saying it's just men, because I've seen it happen with women, but the taxi cab theory talks about men, where it's like men get to a certain point in their life, usually in their 30s, where
Mhm.
that women basically like when they marry, it's because they feel like they met the person they want to marry. Like, I met this person. I want to be with him forever. I'm ready to marry. With the taxi cab theory, it is men decide they're ready to marry and then they just marry whoever's there at that time.
Mhm.
Not because she's so special. It's not because she's the one that got away is the one he's like, dang, I should have married her. But I met her at 32 and I wasn't ready to settle down at 32. She's on her F you forever campaign. But you here. And
And
I
you're
decided I don't want to do this dating thing no more. I would like to settle with one person. I would like to do all to one
Mhm.
person, and you just happen to be here, and so I'm going to settle. And I know I've heard people like that's not real, and let's give a choice. And I'm not to be pessimistic, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen this happen in real life. I've seen real life scenarios of real people I actually know, real couples I've actually met, where it really some basically have said it without saying it, and with some it's not that, but you see the dynamics and it was just like, damn, it really felt like you was just ready to settle and that person just happened to be there because y'all don't know each other, y'all have nothing in common, y'all seem awkward together. I've seen you with people you are dynamic with that spark joy. You still stalk her Instagram. You still ask me about her. And like, so why did you settle here? I think it's a real thing. And with that being said, if you feel like that's what's happening, you need to ask yourself because some people are okay with it. Some people are like, girl, I'm also settling. I don't want to be alone. I don't shame it as long as everybody's aware of what we're getting ourselves into. No one's lying about it. And if you're okay with that, be okay with it. However, if that's not what you want, you might want to reconsider, do I want to go through with this?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with everything you said. Like we had this conversation before, me and you,
Mm-hmm.
about yeah, I'm not trying to if I'm not your type, I don't want it. I don't want it. And then like I know sometimes I might think like, am I this guy's type or am I not? But if somebody blatantly told me like you're just not my type, but you're not my normal type, I'm just like, well, no, because me, I want to be this guy's dream girl. And I know I'm getting older. I might not be the dream girl. They might have the dream girl before. That kind of that's a fear for mine sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not trying to settle. But I want to be like his perfect type or the closest, like his dream girl that he never thought he could have. Like, and if you don't feel that way about me, I really don't want it. Like, I don't want to. After a while, you don't want to fight for it. Like, if you think about that in the long term, enough things come up in marriage then if you're really attracted to me or if you're really loving or if I'm really your type.
Yeah.
Like that should be that shouldn't even be on the list because there's about to be a whole bunch of other things y'all got to deal with. And that's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. And if I knew it and then his friends told me, and if he told me, and if I felt it and then he was acting distance, even if it was 2 weeks, we just can't get married. Cause like I think I take marriage more serious now than I ever took it.
Mm-hmm.
Just having like friends and family's been married and all these different things. Like back in the day, I'm like, I was like, I want to get married, but I don't think it's just like that easy to me now. So it's just like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, like you said, marriage seems hard enough that like, do you like me should not be one of the questions I have to ask
Yeah.
myself on
Yeah.
top of everything else.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, because you're right, me, you actually recently had this conversation. Like, and we like, and it feels so amazing when you date somebody and you know you're their dream girl. I don't know if y'all have ever had that experience, but I know like there was somebody I dated right before my Saturn return who like I know for a fact I was their dream girl. I would catch this man sneaking photos of me. I would catch this man looking like Goofy, just staring off in the corner, days, sparkles in his eyes, just like he's so beautiful, just randomly. And that's such a fucking beautiful feeling. And it doesn't have to, because I'm not big on like you have to be that person's dream person physically. because I do think it's rare that you meet somebody that like you are exactly what I would make physically if I can make a person and emotionally and spiritually and blah blah blah. But like there should be attraction.
Mm-hmm.
There should
Mm-hmm.
be a like, oh, who is that kind of feel to it. It shouldn't be I had to convince myself to be with
Yeah.
you. And the reason I'm bringing
Mm-hmm.
this up is because I am wondering if that's kind of what's happening. Because what I have noticed is when people are in those couplings where they have to convince themselves, they just one day start resenting you and kind of drifting. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't do nothing. Nothing has changed. You're the exact same person that when you said, hey, be my girl, be my dude, they're that same person. You're the exact same person when they said, I want to marry you, be my fiance, be my wife, be my husband. You're the exact same person. And one day you just wake up and they're distant. One day you just wake up and it feels like they treat your relationship like a chore. And I think that happens sometimes. So when it's like, I had to convince, I had to convince, I had to convince. And then one day you realize, like, I wanted this to be natural. This doesn't feel natural. And if I don't actively try, it feels too hard. And that's not to say that relationships don't require effort and active trying, but I don't feel like your whole relationship should feel like I have to actively remind myself to like you, to like.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to have periods of that. It's another thing if I'm convincing myself into this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. Because I've been on both ends of the spectrum, I guess. Like, go to sleep and wake up, and the guy's like has so many pictures of me. Like, he just loves to see me sleep, or he's finding every little pieces of my body to be the artwork, and it's just like it's a difference. It boosts everything, and then into the other, your enemy.
Yeah,
Other one,
yeah.
huh?
I said, yeah, no, I'm just agreeing
Yeah,
with you. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's hard to go back to like mediocre when you've had somebody
Mhm.
who memorizes where all your beauty marks on your body is.
Yes. Yeah. It's just like, but now it's just like, then you go to like, dude, like, do you really, are you looking at like, are you in this? Like, what are we doing? Like, so it's not the same feeling. So I would rather be with that person like this that I'm going to marry than the opposite end of the spectrum where it's just like, you have to guess. I
Yeah.
would never go into marriage. I've been in those situations as the dating situations, and I probably did try or trying
Mhm.
to push the narrative, but it's a difference.
It
It
is.
is a difference. And I don't want to like settle for that. As me personally, I don't want to settle for that. I low key, I get lonely, but I low key would probably rather be alone. Like right now, I'm good. Like it's just like I'd rather do that than settle and not be on the same. Cause
Yeah,
it does so much for your relationship when y'all feel that way about each other.
it
Like,
does. It does.
yeah.
Again, no shame to the people who are like, no, I'm just ready. I'm trying to
Mhm.
pop out 2 kids.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have us all have the same last name. This is a business
Mhm.
contract. No shame to that whatsoever. But again, make sure you guys are both aware because what it sounds like is like, no, that's not what you thought you were signing yourself up to. And now you're wondering if that's what he's doing. If
Yeah.
that's not what you want, you can walk away.
Mhm.
Biggest
Never.
takeaway today, y'all can leave. Yeah. Yeah. So it does sound like maybe you guys are in a relationship where maybe it does feel like maybe he is settling. Have a conversation. Here's the thing. I know we always say have a conversation, give people a truth chance to talk. I guess technically I do believe that, but like people can lie. And so especially in things that matter of this, especially in matters like there are some people who just like, I just don't want to be alone.
Mhm.
And so I rather this than nothing. And that might not be what you want to sign up for. So even if y'all have the conversation and it still feels like it just literally feels like he treats this relationship like it's a chore, I'm also, you know, I'm team follow your intuition on it.
Yeah. Same.
It's not the
And it
clinical
don't.
advice, but I will say, like, when it comes to situations like this, yes, have the conversations, try to be mature. But if their actions aren't lining up and your intuition just keep being like, girl, you might, that might, or boy, it might be something that, you might want to follow.
Mhm.
Nique, you got the next one?
Yes. So the title is I Feel Like No One Likes Me. Okay, I started university this year and had to do online classes for the first semester. The time was definitely one of the worst for me as I had no interest in going to that university. My parents made me go because it was religious. And I struggled to keep up with the time difference. Fast forward to now, I'm doing in-person classes and I am now halfway through the second semester. However, it's been almost 3 months and I don't know anyone in my class. Everyone seems to know each other while I'm always the one alone. I try to sit near everyone or even talk to them, but it always feels like I'm a pest of some kind. I also try to join a club in hopes of maybe making friends there, but it is the same situation. The club is made up of majority of boys and only 5 girls, including me. And almost every time the 4 other girls will pair up with each other and talk, and I'll just be there on my own, feeling like I am invisible. The same thing happened to me in high school when I moved during my last 2 years. And it was only in the end of my first year that one person became my friend. At first, I tried my absolute best not to let it bother me until I broke down recently and told my parents, who only told me to just preserve, and you're only there for 4 to 3 years. If they're annoying you, then ignore them back. At this point, I just want to leave. At that point, I would leave. But it doesn't seem like, I wonder if it's like because it's a religious college that maybe they're all grouped up together, if that's what it is. But I guess you can't leave it because it's on your parents' dime, blah, blah, blah. But they cannot tell her that it's only 3 to 4 years because that's a hell of a long time to be feeling alone. But I think the option is to go outside of the school. Like you don't have to make friends in school. There probably are clubs, organizations outside, or finding apps where you can meet friends. You don't have to meet friends in the college. Literally, I only met you and one other friend when I was in college,
Yeah.
and I was fine with that. In my college previous, I just came with all my high school friends, so I didn't meet anybody new, like for real, like no friends, like no people I can call friends. I had a lot of acquaintances, a lot of people I say hi to, but I wasn't friends with them. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem like she's okay with that. But I'm saying, I guess my advice to her is just go outside of school and find different things you can do outside of school, find new friends outside of school. That's always an option, especially if your parents won't let you leave. Yeah, that's the only option I really have because she's not finding much luck there. And being alone, I felt super alone when I was at UC
Yeah.
coming from
It's like,
Kentucky State, and it was already a culture shock anyways because of HBCU to a PWI. So everybody was intimidating to me. Um, but once I found you, I was fine, and once I found my other friend, I was fine. But I wonder if I didn't find y'all, I'd probably just be going home. But my other options was just going home. I'm like, I'm gonna go to school and just go home,
yeah.
back to dating. But that's just my perspective on it. Like it is the end all to find friends in college in my in my perspective, I guess.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. One, don't leave. Do not let your social standing deter you from getting your education. Get your degree, get your so you can make your money, so you can do the things that you want to do. But I agree with Neat. If you're not finding the people where you are, then just start looking at other places. I tell this to people all the time. There is like a consistent thing of a lot of people right now struggling to make friends, especially in adulthood. And I think we're socialized to be like, oh, you make your friends at school or at work. But for some of us, it's like, okay, I just don't meet my people there. And here's the thing, like I have been through that as well. I have moved to Oklahoma for 10 months. Y'all, I only made it 10 months in Oklahoma. I could not. I was having the weirdest experiences. I don't know where on the, oh, we did do that, right? We did an astrocartography.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't remember what line it was, but it was not a great place. This little
Mm-hmm.
app was like, you should not be here. You will
At
have
all.
very weird experiences and you won't like it. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. My whole
Mm-hmm.
10 months there. But like one of the things I did is like at work, I was not meeting people. I was meeting weird people. I remember I met this girl at the orientation. Girl, it was like high school. I saw one other Black person at orientation. I was like, I'm gonna go sit by her. Because there was a white lady who told me that her grandbaby had hair like mine and kept trying to touch my hair and ask me for advice. And I was just over it. So I was like, let me go sit by the Black girl. And I remember we had lunch together. I had only been in the state for like a month. And I was like, yeah, I need to find like a doctor, whatever, whatever. Somehow the topic I brought up of like Black doctors. And she was like, I don't know. If I see a Black doctor, like I'll be like, are you supposed to be here? And I will walk out. I would get another one. And I was like, oh, y'all weird. Y'all weird over here. And that's not to say that was all of Oklahoma, but Lord knows. I don't know if it was that company. I don't know if it's because I was in Oklahoma City. I don't know, but I kept running into Black folks like that. And I was not used to that. Like all my
Mm-hmm.
homegirls, like all of us, all our doctors are Black. All of
Exactly.
our dentists are Black. Like the way that the health system already treats Black women, when we have pains and like there's an alliance of like there's a better chance of them seeing me as a human and taking me seriously when I have problems and
Mm-hmm.
pains if they are also Black. That's a whole thing. But anyways, I kept running into things like that where I was running into some folks that were just saying wild things to me. Not just the Black folks, Lord, but that one like really took me out my water. But what I end up doing is being like, okay, I'm not finding them at this job. I am not finding them in my neighborhood. And so what I end up doing is like, okay, well, what are the type of folks I like? Like I was, especially in my 20s, I used to go to all the protests, all the marches, all the stuff. And so that's what I did. I think around that time, I think that's when Mike Brown was murdered. And so I went to the Mike Brown. I didn't know. I saw it on social media. I took myself by myself and I met some friends there. We talked and we're like, okay, we had same things in common. And then I eventually did end up meeting someone who was like my second best friend, my other best friend. Uh, for that time, and I met her, and we have the same interests as well. So I said I share that story to say is like, okay, you're right. Sometimes it won't be at your job, it won't be at school, but then ask yourself, okay, what are my interests and hobbies? Where
Mm-hmm.
with the people who are like the things that I like hang out, and
Mm-hmm.
taking yourself to those things to meet those people. It
That
might
is
be a
true.
matter of like I am a gym buff. I like working out. I like taking care of myself. I might, okay, see if they got a Black girl runs club, a Black girl hike club. It doesn't have to be Black girl. It could just be women. you know, I won't lie, y'all. I did be put Black girl, blah, 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 for all my stuff. But it could be, hiking, women's hike group.
Mhm,
It can
mhm.
be, okay. And I say group because sometimes it's weird trying to just go up to people, start conversations by yourself at the gym. So, like, do groups and stuff. It might be, okay, I am a film buff. I love going to films. I'm like, there might be a film club. There might be, matter of fact, when I first moved to Atlanta, I had made friends with somebody who was like a really big film buff. And they found out there was like this group where they got free pre-screenings of movies and they got to rate them, blah, blah, blah. And so they started going to that and they met other people. They ended up becoming, they were like 23. They ended up becoming best friends with this guy that was like 56 because he also was a film buff. He liked black and white
Mhm.
film noir. They loved it. And so they got along and then he introduced them to people. And like, you're not always going to find people that easily. It's not always going to be there at my
Yeah.
job, my next door neighbor. We go to school together. Some people get
Mhm.
lucky to get that. That's how me and Nique met. That's how me and Ashley met. That's how me and Gabby met. Ashley was work, Nique was school, Gabby was school. But for some of us, it's not going to be that easy. And so you gotta ask yourself, okay, where are the people that I like to be around? Where would they actually be at? Where will they
Mhm.
hang? And take yourself to those places and do it more than once.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get lucky in the first protest you go to. You're gonna
Mhm.
meet people that you talk to and find. Sometimes it's you're shy, you're quiet. Nika's a shy and quiet person.
Mhm.
Me and you talked about this before of like feeling like I got to get adopted by the extroverts. But okay, in order for that to happen, you have to be around them enough. So like maybe go to the place and then you went to a group once and it wasn't that great. Okay, go two, three, four times because people have to be by you and they're like, oh, she's came a couple of times. All right, she changed
Mhm.
her hair up. You got to give them talking points. What are the type of people I like? And then ask yourself, where would they go? And start taking yourself to those places to meet those type of folks.
I think that is a good idea because I did meet two other friends at UC as well. Because I was, like I said, I came from HBCUs for PWI. So I'm like, okay, so we're coming a lot of people. I just found all my elective was African American studies class, like literally all my so much that the director was like, okay, why isn't this your minor? Like you have enough classes
Yeah.
for this to be your minor. I don't know why I didn't take it as a minor. That would have been a good idea just to do it, but I didn't. I was like, man, I could have been working at the museum part time or something.
Girl,
Yes, I don't know why I didn't do it. I don't know.
that was like me with criminal justice. All my electives was like criminal justice, and they were just like, just stay an extra semester and make it your minor.
Yeah, so,
Ah,
but it worked for me because that's where I met my friend. That's where I met Michelle, my friend
okay.
Michelle. That go out of
Mm-hmm.
town with stuff. I met her at AUC in a African American studies class, but it's just like I had told myself like, okay, let's make something feel a little bit familiar, or go somewhere where I know it's gonna probably be more people of color for me to try to interact with, and it just happened to work in that way. So I think that is great advice. Like, go to something you like, are you really interested in? And I'm always really, I'm always
Yeah.
into so much Black history stuff.
Yeah.
So it just worked out for me in that way. So that is a good advice as well.
And you know what? Also, like that, like utilizing stuff on campus, especially if you're like, I'm a student, I don't got my license, it's hard for me to run a city.
Yeah.
Go to different things, but think about where would you find what's the type of things you like, type of people you like to hang out with, where would they see themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And start putting yourself there.
Definitely work. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I have the last question. This one also doesn't have a title, so I'm gonna jump right into it. It goes, hi, I have a friend I've been friends with for around 4 years. And around 3 years ago, I realized I liked her. After lots of thinking, I decided to tell her how I felt. And she said she didn't feel the same way, but she valued me as a friend. Long story short, I got over her and we stayed great, very good friends. I have now realized that I have a crush on her again. Not sure if it's new or if I never got over my feelings from years ago, but this time I kind of got some signs that she might like me back. She's been extra touchy recently and she's talking to me more and just acting a bit differently around me. Under normal circumstances, I would take this as a sign that she might have similar feelings, but I don't want to ask her about it because if I'm wrong, it will be the second time I've asked her and she hasn't felt the same, which is low key embarrassing. Anyway, any advice at all would be appreciated. Please, I'm so desperate. Thank you so much. Um, I am of the belief to let her make the first move.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who has had like friends and have had situations like this happen, it feels very uncomfortable when you are really good friends with somebody and they try to move into a space that you're not trying to. And it's innocent when it's like, oh, I thought, and I tell you, and I'm like, oh, yo, that's not how I'm feeling. But when it happens more than once, as the recipient of that, it kind of is like, oh my gosh, can I not be cool with them? Like, and here's the thing. I know you're saying that, like, no, she's giving me some signs, but as someone who, like, even recently, I think last year I had to ask Ashley, I was like, am I flirty? And she's like, what? I'm like, at any point in time during our friendship, do you feel like I flirted with you? And she was like, what? And I'm like, no, because was that last year? No, it was in 2023. I had to ask her this because I had a year where I had a couple of friends that started doing stuff. And I'm like, am I flirting? And I'm just not knowing. And I was like, I'm just having shit happen where I am like, maybe I'm giving off signals that I'm unaware of because with these people, and this was actually females, not men, but with both of these people, oh wait, I end up messing up.
You are like, sidebar. Like what I remember, because I'm not a touchy friendly
Yeah.
person, and you always just like lay on my shoulder and fall asleep. You're more like touchy, and I'm not
Okay.
touchy, and I notice it probably more because I'm not touchy. Because I mean, even when you fell asleep on my shoulder, I'm like, but that's how I was.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe they take it as, oh, she like me. I'm just like, oh, she's
And
just
maybe that's
comfortable.
look,
Like
it's
I'm just
why
like, oh,
I
she's
gotta
just comfortable. Maybe because I'm not really into women, so I never felt like it was a pass. I was just like, yeah, she's comfortable. But for me, I'm not. I don't even hug none of my friends. Like, everybody
I
greets
know.
each other with a hug, and I'm not hugging. Yeah, it's just randomly I hug, but it's just
Yeah.
like. So I will say that because I just had that flashback. Because I remember when we had went to all the way to what's the name, Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
You had fell asleep on my shoulder, and it was just random for me because I'm
Yeah.
just not a touchy person. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
I
know.
guess
We've
we're
had
doing this.
conversations. You are very much like these are the only people that can touch me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So even if you try to hug me, I'm like,
I
yeah, what are you doing here?
appreciate that feedback because like I was just having a year the other year where I was just like, am I doing something? because I'm having people who like I've been friends with. Now, one of the friendships was kind of newish, but one
Mhm.
of them I had known for years. Another one was one like I had known for years. And I was just like, I must be doing something that are making people be like, well, because the way I thought we were flirting. And I'm like, this is me in friendships. I don't know
But
what
other than that,
what
no,
you
I
guys
don't
think
see it.
flirting is. This is how I act
No,
with
none at
friends.
all. I don't see it.
Like being like, you know what, probably because it keeps happening to me.
Yeah.
Happen to me on a recurring basis. Um, so that is good feedback because yeah, definitely 2023. I kept having instances of me just being like, what am I doing? Because these people keep
Mhm.
telling me, like, well, because you were giving me moves. And I was like, was I? I am just talkative and smiley. My bad. But anyways, I said that to say, like, as someone who has like have run-ins with people being like, oh, because it feels like you're feeling me too. And I've been like, I think this is just uh, it feels the first time it's like understanding,
Mhm.
but when it happens more than once, it makes you want to just kind of be like, oh, I'm not sure if I could be friends with them.
Yeah.
And not always, that's not how it is for all people. But I know for me, when I've been in those situations, one in particularly, like I end up ending the friendship. Now they took it too far. That's why I had to end the friendship. It was more
Mhm.
than just I have a crush. They were being very just like randomly aggressively inappropriate with me. Um, but it made it hard to go back to friendship because now things that felt normal to me to just like, hey, I miss you. How's your day? Checking on you. Now I'm just like, I don't know if I just I miss you because nah, because apparently miss you. They take that as romantic. I don't know if I
Mhm.
want to check on them. And then it also made it weird every time they talk to me and they're just like, hey, you're thinking about you. And I'm like, I don't want you thinking about me. It's just weird. So with that being said, I say wait for them to make the first move because it can feel really when you want to have a clear line with someone and then you you kind of let them know, hey, this is not how I'm feeling. And then it gets brought up again. I'm thinking of what is that guy? He's a comedian with what's his name? You know what I'm talking about. Me, you talked about this last year with Tyler the Creator. His
Mhm.
where
Mhm.
his friend did like the whole video, like I had feelings for you.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
Yeah.
we already had this conversation.
Oh, I
And for
agree.
some reason, the friend was like, but it's different. And he's just like, I don't. And
And
it was like this
then,
weird context where then Tyler Loki had to hurt his feelings. So like,
mhm.
okay, because I told you nicely once. So like now I have to laugh at you when you're saying this. I say wait for them. I say wait for them to make the first move. If they have feelings and they want to, they're eventually going to have to say something. Like they're eventually going to have to, whether it be immaturely by telling one of y'all friends and then they get back
Mhm.
to you type of things, or they'll make it a big move type of thing. But if you've already put yourself out there with a friend and you value that friendship, and you're like, hey, I don't want to make it weird or mess it up, then at this point, I think it's safer for you to just wait for them to make a move because you are right. You're talking about like, oh, if I do it and I'm wrong, it's embarrassing. Not only is it embarrassing, which it doesn't necessarily have to be, but
That's
it can
the
really make
way.
it awkward for the friendship going forth.
Yeah, definitely will push that friend away. I never had like that with
But you don't really have that many male friends.
the only male friend I did. He did try to talk to me though.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah, I had male friends like growing up, but it wasn't like a one-on-one friendship. It was like a group friendship.
Yeah.
Like we all went to high school together and they would never try to hit on me but it was never like a bestie.
Yeah.
And this person was. So there's this like, and then it did mess it up because it's like, I told you, I'm not feeling that. I don't want to do that. And then like the pushing of it, it just messes up the friendship. Cause it's just like now I just don't be like want to meet up when you come to town or
Mm-hmm.
want to do this or want to do that because it's just like, are you trying to hit on me again? Or are you really trying to be a friend?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and the thing is, with the friendship that we had, or I thought we had, I could confide in him with a lot of things, or I could come to him with those things, and we'll talk it out. And I did try. He did come help me with a few things this year. Like he just like a voice of reason
Mm-hmm.
and talked it out. But it's just like that's only like here and there because it's like I can't do it as much as I used to do it because I feel like icky sometimes. Like, I don't know. It's just like, are you gonna try to do this? Are you gonna try to do
Yeah.
that? So it's like a hard boundary. And it's like the friendship starts to drift because it's just like, I'm not trying to cross the line. I'm not sure if you want to cross the line again. So I agree. Like, if I ever had those feelings and I was so secure about them, I would tell you, like, oh, I want to try this. Are those feelings still there for you? Let's try it. It really needs to come from the person because, like you said, it's going to keep pushing away. It's not going to just be embarrassing. It's going to keep pushing away and
Yeah.
keep pushing away. And if it's a good friendship, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that because again, I've had an instance where I had a friend who where like when they first like, hey, I have feelings, I was just like, hey, this is not the time. This is not, yeah, you got a lot of stuff
Mhm.
happening. This is, also I'm enjoying being your friend. Let's just be friends. And then later on, I realized like, okay, as things are settling in your life, as things are settling in my life, okay, you're right. This could be more of a romantic compatibility. Let's give that a try. And I was vocal with it. I was like,
Mhm.
you know what? I just want to let you know that like if that's still a feeling that you have, like I actually am more open to explore that now. I am realizing I am having past friendship type feelings for you. And I brought it up. And that's not to say everybody will be that vocal. Sometimes it's a little bit harder. But I do think also when there is a friendship, it's harder to hide it and not say anything at all. You are even on the shyer side, and you said, like, you brought it up. So you can't, the people will bring it up.
Mhm. If
But
they
I think
want,
if you
if they
already
want
thrown it
that.
out there, they've already said no, bringing it up a second time, even if you are saying, like, I feel like they're doing some crushy things, I feel like they're flirting, I feel like they're sending me signs, unless the sign is direct communication, I would wait for them.
Mhm. To take
Um,
the lead,
yeah,
unless it's like uh, come up and kiss you or something. Like it got to be so freaking clear. Like it can't be like, and if it is, like what was that about? You know. But until that happens, no, don't push the narrative.
because you
Mm-mm.
might ruin a friendship. Now, is there a
Yeah.
chance you bring it up and she just kind of laughs it off and goes about her day? That is a chance too. But I always, especially with friends, ask yourself, is my desire worth risking what we have?
Mhm.
And sometimes it is. Sometimes it is like, no, I love you so much. I can't be just your friend. And that's
Yeah.
okay. But understand, like, okay, when you put that out there though, then that might mean it's okay, then we really can't be friends. Are
Mhm.
you okay with that outcome?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So that is all the questions that we have for today. We hope you guys enjoyed. We'll have new episodes for you on next Sunday. You can follow us on TikTok. I'm pretty sure we're shadow banned. I know I've been saying that for 6 months because we've been shadow banned for like 6 months. But you can follow us on TikTok at She Wolf Alchemy Podcast and on Instagram at She Wolf Alchemy. And we'll have new episodes for you guys next Sunday. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.